Hi there. Basically, in short, do yourself a favour and look at all of the links below this video in the description on YouTube or the description on Vimeo. They are the sites that you will see brief visual images of on the screen, and each of them has amazingly eye-opening information on what many would consider to be cover-ups by the Crown Prosecution Service and or the Met Police and other police in relation to Rupert Murdoch's disgraced fake Sheikh Mazher Mahmood. Everything is at the links that's below this video on YouTube or Vimeo, and then further information of non-disclosure, massive non-disclosure issues by both the police and CPS over several decades in relation to Mazher Mahmood is located at circusofthemind.net. So, first page you'll go to is Celebrity Hypnotist demands official Scotland Yard and government inquiry into Rupert Murdoch's fake Sheikh Mazher Mahmood, where you'll see a video which will be at the end of this, in fact. It was posted on May the 17th, 2019, despite proof that these letters were sent by sign for delivery to all the various places, and you'll see that on the video that comes up at the end. Nobody responded with any answers to the questions, and there's never been any investigation. Now, the police did do an Operation Silverhawk that was instigated towards the end of 2014 or sometime in 2015, but that only ever looked at the Talisa Kontos-Davlos case, which collapsed in court in 2014. It didn't look at any of Mahmood's other cases, despite the fact, as you can see at circusofthemind.net, there's evidence galore of non-disclosure by the police and CPS, and the fact that the police and CPS both knew about Mahmood's dishonesty and unreliability as a witness at least as far back as 1994. There's documented evidence of that, as mentioned at circusofthemind.net. And you'll see the letter at the links that are in the description below this video. There'll be another page from November 20th, 2014. Mazher Mahmood silence from Met, CPS and Attorney General as Lord Goldsmith calls for re-examination of cases, whilst Beckham Kidnap lawyer calls for an inquiry. That's relevant because this November 2022 will be 20 years to when Mahmood did the set-up, fabricated Beckham Kidnap sting story, which led, well, it collapsed basically, as you can see at the links below this video. You can see a bit on this, but as you can see, one of the cases that collapsed was the Victoria Beckham kidnap plot, because it turned out to be a charade where Mahmood had paid the key witness, Floram Gashi, 10 grand. So the case completely collapsed, and someone else involved who actually ended up doing some jail time, but went to the CCRC, Criminal Cases Review Commission, Mr. Quama, maybe, and the CCRC concluded that because of fresh evidence and the circumstances that were then shown that caused the person to commit these offences, okay, along with the material non-disclosure prior to interview and the entering of plea by the prosecution of matters affecting the credibility of the key prosecution of the journalist Mazher Mahmood, that the Crown Court will set aside the pleas of guilty and stay any further proceedings against the person as an abuse of the process. The court documents confirm CPS not only agreed with the Criminal Cases Review Commission, but consented with the court for the person to vacate his guilty plea. This is relevant to me because on the first day of trial, 1st of March 1999, after getting bad advice, I changed my plea from not guilty to guilty with mitigating circumstances, but I feel I should be allowed to vacate my guilty plea as explained at circusofthemind.net because, number one, I've got over 2,000 pages of fresh evidence and witness statements that have never been looked at fully by the Court of Appeal or the Criminal Cases Review Commission before, which fully show my case practically mirrors the Talisa Kontos-Davlos circumstances and the circumstances in many cases such as Rodriguez, which collapsed, and various other cases that collapsed over the decades, including proof that the police and CPS communicated with each other as far back as 1994, 5 years before my case reached court, about Mahmood not being a reliable witness. And yet none of that was ever, and hasn't to this day, ever been disclosed to me by the police or CPS. I found it out in recent years myself through various other sources. So non-disclosure is a massive thing. So because of this, I would say, certainly in my case, that is all relevant, as it is in many other people's. And therefore, I shall be allowed to vacate my guilty plea, and everything else I've now got at circusofthemind.net would mean that it would never get to court these days, because any cases that were in the works the moment the Talisa Kontostavlos trial collapsed, all of them were cancelled. 25 footballers, a DJ, a doctor regarding an abortion drug sting that Mahmood did, all collapsed because they could no longer rely on Mahmood's credibility. Well, as the evidence has come to light, they knew for decades, due to cases that collapsed, Rodriguez's case, numerous others over the years, that Mahmood's evidence could not be trusted. They knew that from the Beckham Kidnap case. But no, they still carried on for some reason, taking cases to court and believing his discredited evidence, which is bonkers. And you will see the things you're seeing pop up on the screen, the full versions of them, and someone who got a libel case was settled because it was proven that they were innocent. And the stuff here that tends to indicate cover-up, corruption, and deception pointed towards the Met Police, maybe even the Crown Prosecution Service, or some elements. The suggestions by people, not by me, but the suggestions are there. The links to these things are all below this video. Okay. Stuff about the Attorney General, CPS, Met Police. Stuff about an Operation Canopus, Operation Silverhawk, Operation Nigeria, Operation Two Bridges. All these different things which further illustrate Mahmood's dishonesty in the fact that police and the CPS knew for decades about this, but never disclosed any of it to me or anyone else. And then there's also stuff showing what should have been looked at by Leveson Inquiry Part 2, and also tying Mahmood's name in with the Daniel Morgan murder inquiry. Look at these links, look at the stuff, read it, and heck, I don't think any sane individual can say that it's not clear, because it certainly is from this stuff, that Mahmood's dishonesty was known for decades by the police and CPS, and yet they still let his cases go to court, despite the fact there were numerous occasions where cases collapsed because it was shown that evidence was manipulated, edited, such as the Rodriguez case and other cases, and that back in 1994 they knew he couldn't be trusted, and communications between the police and CPS stating that exist, as shown in the documents at circusofthemind.net. And I mentioned massive cover-ups and non-disclosure issues galore in the other videos. You can see there at circusofthemind.net. But there's some interesting links below this video. You need to look at the video on YouTube and look at the description, the text description, for the links, that you can then read that stuff and see for yourself that it becomes clear Mahmood's word should never have been trusted, going back to the early 90s, as I illustrate on circusofthemind.net, and this further information does that you can see at the links below this video. I'll outro this video with the video you see on screen, Celebrity Hypnotist Demands Official Inquiry, which was posted originally in May 2019, and I never got a response. And they said in 2014 the CPS were going to investigate past Mahmood cases, but nothing ever happened of that. The police's investigation became Operation Silverhawk, which only looked at the Talisa Kontostavlos case, where it's clearly been shown that Mahmood was guilty because he got jailed for conspiracy to pervert the course of justice. What happened with Talisa practically mirrors what happened with me, as explained at circusofthemind.net. She was drugged, I was drugged. She was likely hacked, I don't know whether there's evidence of that in her case, but there definitely is in my case and many other cases. Evidence manipulated, yeah. Go to circusofthemind.net and check out the links below this video. This is why we need Leveson Inquiry Part 2. The rabbit hole is massively deep, and one of the major exposés of that would be uncovering Mahmood's criminal activities, dishonest activities, and corruption between the police and Mahmood, and where the CPS have failed to disclose stuff to people over the years. So as you can see here, Friday the 17th of May 2019, I've just written this letter. An open letter to all relevant authorities regards the long-term illegal activities of journalist Mazher Mahmood, aka the fake Sheikh. 10-page letter. It will be online on my blog, clearthoughtsmentalismhypnosis.wordpress.com, and you'll find it by following the links that you can find on circusofthemind.net to read it in detail. The key is it's going to be sent signed for delivery to the Met Police, Chief Commissioner of the Met Police, and as you can see, both major officers of the CPS who have questions to answer, the Attorney General, the Department for Digital Culture, Media and Sport, the Shadow Minister for Digital Culture, Media and Sport, the Lib Dem representative for Digital Culture, Media and Sport, and Hacked Off, who help media abuse victims. As I say, if you go to circusofthemind.net, you'll find a link to my grounds of appeal, where there'll also be a link to this open letter. So for purposes of the blog, it's Friday the 17th of May 2019. Just about to go to the post office, post all these off to the Met Police, CPS, Attorney General, the Department of Culture, Media and Sport, the Shadow Minister for that, and Hacked Off, and a whole bunch of other people that I mentioned just before this bit. And then next Friday, the 24th of May 2019, I'll be sending off via sign for next day guaranteed delivery, but because it's bank holiday weekend, it won't arrive there until the Tuesday, the 28th of May. My grounds of appeal renewed to the courts in London. For anyone who wishes to check, here is the proof of postage and all the reference numbers to the letters you just saw on the pile before. That's it for now, until next Friday the 24th of May, when grounds of appeal will be dispatched by signed for delivery also.